And welcome to Flexible Games, where this episode is going to be kind of special. You know, I've kind of run out of things to do in Space Engineers, but I do want to cover how to set up the world that I've been using in this series. So we're going to set up a new game, and we're going to set up, let's see, start a new, not a new campaign, a custom game. And we're going to start with the crashed red ship. This is the world that I started. We're actually going to start it in creative mode at first. Okay, the mods that we're going to use, pretty much all the mods that I have listed here, and so we're just going to move them all over. Now, there's a couple very, very important ones here. Let's see if I can find them in a reasonable amount of time here. Let's see. There is a... Of course, it probably is in the bottom of the list. It is the mod for, there it is right there. Mid-spaces admin helper commands. This is a vital mod to get this started. This will give us the ability to create our asteroid. So that is one we're going to want. So let's see. We got a lot of other ones in here. Obviously, the automated inventory sorting is another one that I'm going to cover how to use. The list of the mods, look in the description. You can download a text file that has a list of all of the mods here and the URLs in order to get them and subscribe to them. But I just wanted to point out that admin helper commands, that is the vital one here. Now you can get other mods, other planets and stuff like that. These ones are just the ones that I've been using in my series. So we're going to start this up, and we're going to do this, and it's going to download. Well, it's going to actually check the mods in my mods folder and see if there's any updates. So obviously no updates. So yeah, I'm kind of out of ideas. I didn't get any sort of feedback on what to do next, so I'm assuming people are sort of ready for me to move on to a different game. What I'm thinking of doing now is switching the series. So Empyrean is the same type of game, and it has a lot more content to it. There's a lot more stuff to do. There's a lot more to explore. And I kind of want to continue this sort of genre in this time slot, and basically switch to a different game in my sort of evening, every other day time slot. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do there, but expect some Empyrean in this time slot, because that series, I'm getting better at that game, learning that game a little bit more. And you know, I'm going to be doing a whole lot of exploring and you know, mining and advancements and all that kind of stuff with that game. All right, so here we go. I think we're just about done. Okay, so here we started. This is basically the start of the series. Very familiar environment here. So yeah, this is the start. This is basically everything we started with here, and crashed right into that asteroid, which has a ton of iron in it, which is nice. Okay, so you can see there's no planet and there's no moon here, and that is where we will start here. So we're gonna do Alt F10, and we're going to do enable creative mode tools. So that's a pretty important thing right there. So that enables spawning objects. It enables spectator and teleport. So you're going to want Alt F10 to enable that. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is spawn that moon in. Now, you can get your position, you can find out what coordinates that you really want, but I'm just gonna use the same coordinate system that I did before. So let's see. We're going to close that out. I think it was what was the command for bringing up the 5? Oh no. Yeah. What was the? I need to bring up. I've been playing way too many games, so the keys are a little different in all of these other games. So I need to bring up the console command here, and let's see, chat, the chat window essentially. So if we look, open admin. Chat screen is enter. Console is tilde, and I've been hitting that, and it's not coming up. So we're going to type in create roid sphere, and sphere layers. This is just the name of the object that it's going to create. It will create this in the directory, and you could upload it, but there's really no point in uploading it because you can just create it. The 500, 500, 500. Those are the coordinates, X, Y, Z coordinates. And this next one is just the number of sections that you're going to build. Okay, so the first is the outer layer. So this is stone, and it's 799, and then it's going to be iron, and that's going to start at 785. So you're going to have essentially a 15 block or a 14 block thick layer of stone. So you can edit these numbers. So instead of stone 01, you could maybe use ice 01 and make the outer layer ice instead of stone. So then we just run through. Nickel starts at 589, so you obviously can see there's almost 200 meters of iron, and I just kind of went all the way down the line here. So this command, depending on the width, the not the radius, but this tells the game this is going to be a 799 meter thick asteroid. Now don't go any higher than about 900. Any higher than that, you'll probably crash your game. But 799 is a good one. Depending on the dimensions that you use, it can take a while to actually render this out. So, because essentially what it does is it creates a stone asteroid first. Then inside that, it creates the iron asteroid. Then inside that, it creates the nickel. And then inside that. So it's constantly rewriting blocks. Every time you have a layer here, it's rewriting the blocks and making a smaller and smaller sphere every time it goes down. So it just takes a while. So be prepared to, once you hit enter, walk away from your machine, and give it some time. Give it some time to do this, depending on your computer specs. So I'm going to fire this off, and we'll see where it builds it. So I'm not going to obviously render or record the whole process here because I want to get on some other details. So we're going to hit enter there. As you can see, it is sort of paused, and we'll be right back. All right, so my system, I mean, that took about 2 or 3 minutes on my system, but as you can see, the time taken 2 minutes 49 seconds, so right in that time. But anyway, one asteroid generated, layers 10, and it just gives you all the different layers. And somewhere in the world, there it is. Ta-da! So there is the moon. Now, for the planet that I put down, you basically use the vanilla spawning system. Essentially, it is Shift F10, and then you can do asteroids, you can do planets. So if we go down here to planets, okay, the pause was because it was saving the world, and it had a whole lot more to save because I spawned in that asteroid. So that's what did it. So you go down to planets, and you can actually pick your planet. And the one I have is actually a mod added planet called Terra, and it's essentially the Earth. not Earth-like. The seed doesn't really matter. And then the size, I just maxed out to 120 kilometers. So when you hit the spawn, you'll be able to actually place it in the world. Now this thing places quite a ways from you. So when you place it, I mean, this is a long ways away. So you might override some invisible, asteroids that are in there. You can't really see because you're too far away from them. Well, you just click, and there it is. It loads the planet in, and you are good to go. So that is basically how I started this whole process. And so we've got our crash-red ship, we've got our moon, and we've got our planet. Now, the other things that you can do is you can add more planets. You can add more objects in the game as you wish. So in this world, I also added Mars, and I don't even know how far away I did it. But you can enable Spectator Mode. And you can check that command here. Spectate is F8. So if you hit F8, it kind of gets you into a Spectator Mode, disembodied. And you hold down Shift, and you move the mouse wheel up. And moving the mouse wheel up and down changes how fast you're actually moving around. Well, there's a little... Oh, that's me. I was like, there's a little asteroid, but no, that's me. So yeah, I'm in Spectator Mode now. So as you can see, I can move pretty fast and get in and out of areas pretty efficiently. Let's see where... I kind of lost myself here. Not even sure where we went. Kind of lost where my body is. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna exit the planet area here. You can really get lost pretty easily because, I mean, the world, I mean, the universe is pretty big. Space is pretty big, I must say. But yeah, if we look at the planet here, you can see in North America, and Greenland, and everything. It's a pretty well modeled Earth. But anyway, yeah, you can go out way far away. You can even hit Shift and go faster. So you can go way far away and hit Shift F10 again, and maybe add Mars. And Mars is smaller than the Earth, so we don't want to do too big of a world there. So we can spawn Mars right in here. So if we go back to the Earth, we look back, we can see there's Mars in the distance. Because planets, big objects, have a much further draw distance than the small asteroids. As you can see, I don't even know where our completely lost where our body was. So if I hit F8 again, yeah, it's F8, isn't it? Yeah, F8 is spectate. Player control. Okay, put that in. So if we look, so we're still around. We're still here. Didn't overwrite anything. But yeah, that's spectate. And you can zoom around. This is kind of how I found my ship when I lost it. I zoomed around the universe and actually found it. So, but yeah, that is the gist of the world there. And I'm not sure where my moon went, but anyway, let's get into some more advanced things here. So I want to get out of spectator mode. Not blueprints. I want to get into player control again, and we're gonna cancel out of that. Okay, the next thing I want to cover in a little bit more depth and maybe more focused is the system of the advanced sorting. It's such a vital mod. So if we look at our containers, and you look at the control panel, you can see there's, you know, various things in here, and it might be better to cover this in my regular world. So let me jump into my regular world, and I'll come back in just a second. All right, here we are in our wonderful, wonderful world, and so there's the planet. I'm on the moon. The same sort of setup that we had before, and just a little bit further along. Okay, so let's jump right into here, and as you can see, there's my wonderful base. But I want to go into the control panel. All right, now to cover this, let's take a look at these refineries. First of all, if you want to specify, if you want to individualize these, turn the conveyor system off, because then it won't pull its own ore. Let the advanced filter system work for you. Now, in the name of the objects that you want to customize, in brackets or parentheses, though either one works. I'd like brackets just because it's consistent. There are lots of different names that you can use, and I recommend reading the help and the how-tos on this. But generally, or you can use or, and that will pull all ore. Or you can individualize it. Or /iron will only pull iron. The P3 is the priority. Okay, so this is a priority because I have 2 irons, both the same priority. I want to split those, and there are arguments to be made that you shouldn't need split, but I kind of copied and pasted these names so they all have split in them, except for silicon. You can see the priority system. Priority 1, P1, is the highest. P10 is the lowest. So when I dock my mining ship, I have a couple cargo bays. If we look at my cargo containers, let's see, ore. Okay, azimuth ore, and azimuth ore 2 and ore 3. Okay, we got lots of ores in here. I actually have 2 3s. That's kind of interesting. One is for iron, the other is for all the other ores. Okay, and it ignores iron. So let's get into this. So ore priority 5 and split. So it's gonna split between these 2, possibly 3. Yeah, probably 3. Or iron ignore is meaning I want to pull all ore in here except for iron priority 5. Okay, so anything with a higher priority will pull out of this. Anything with a lower priority, if this is full, then the lower priorities start getting filled up. So the P's, those are important to move your items around efficiently. As you can see, my ore iron is priority 4, so I want to pull as much iron from that ship as I possibly can. Now, if I go into my refineries, wherever they may be, I'm not sure, are they even in here? Oh yeah, inventory. That's where I need them. So these are priority 3. So they're higher priority, which means once these are full, then the ore will start going into the cargo containers. Now, the other thing here is the components. This is the other big one. So this azimuth component 1 will pull all components with a priority of 5. And if I look at the control panel and I do component, you can see there's a lot of commands on this. So I want priority 5 on all components. The physical gun object, that is like your welders, your grinders, all of that stuff. I want to pull those at priority 5 as well. and I want to component slash steel plate ignore. I want to ignore steel plates completely. And it seems the game or the mod still can't do hydrogen and oxygen bottles. I'm not sure why that's an issue, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure. So I have components of priority 5, but I ignore steel plates because I want all my steel plates priority 4 to go into steel plate 1. So this is where all of my steel plates should end up once they are crafted. Also, all my ammo. So ammo is a good thing to pull in, just so the system, has a one spot to build all of those. Okay, so that takes care of sort of the broad strokes. So you can see all of the components are coming in here, as well as the physical gun objects, and I think the bottles, I might have moved those manually, I'm not sure. But you can see the steel plates also have my ammo in it, so that's helpful. Alright, the other item that we want to cover is how, when you dock a ship, to move components in. So if I have a welding ship and I want to move these in, first of all, you want to specify a higher priority than you have in your components. So the component P5, well, I want to make sure that that is going to be a higher priority. So in a welding ship, I might use, priority 2, P2, and that will pull components into a welding ship from this box, which is really, really nice. It's really handy to be able to do that. Also, if we look at the reactors, okay, reactors also use conveyor system off, otherwise they will pull, uranium until they're full. So conveyor system off, that's #1 priority. The next thing we want to cover is the ingot uranium 10 priority 2. So this is going to pull 10 uranium constantly. It's always going to have 10 uranium in it. Now, if I wanted to have more uranium in these, I could set this even higher. Depending on what your power draw is, you're going to want to set that higher, and you just set that down here. Maybe you want 100, or maybe you want 20 or 50. You just set that. So ingot uranium, :10, :P2 will keep your reactors going. So if we look at our reactors, you can see these are in ships, the driller ships. So you can see these ones here, ingot uranium 10, priority 2. So it's using the uranium, and then once the system updates, it'll max it out at 10. So it's just constantly feeding it uranium, constantly keeping that going. That way, if in case one of your reactors actually dies or gets blown up, if you have 50 uranium in there, or 100 or 2,000, you're not going to lose that uranium if it's destroyed. You'll just lose 10, which is doable depending on the stage of the game you're in. All right, so that covers reactors, that covers ingots. So yeah, ingot / uranium, ingot / iron, ingot / nickel, all of the different ingots you can kind of individualize. Okay, so if you want further details, I suggest reading up on all the little quirky things that the mod can do, and it's using that same system. Now, exempt will exempt the system from automating itself. So exempt means don't manage this at all. And exempt can be used on machines, it can be used on cargo containers, pretty much anything that has an inventory you can use exempt on, and the system will ignore that completely. Okay, well, that covers pretty much the basics of the automated inventory sorting. There are some, a couple advanced things that you can do, but I just, I like the basics because it works really well for us, and it allows us to pop in one, here and there The other thing that's important is the programmable block that I have set up. Let's make sure my helmet's on before I walk out into the vacuum of space. So I'm going to go down to my programmable block here. Gotta remember the key commands here. All right. So there's my program block. It's on a timer. You can kind of hear the timer ticking. So this thing uses the script that manages all of my assemblers. So if we go to production, you can see the BAQ. That is a self-managed assembler. So if we look at all the other ones, I think I actually added these into the system, and I've got some slave assemblers in here to help out with that queue, because that queue is like 10,000 or something I started. Anyway, this system will automate itself, and you can set, you have to run it once. I did this in detail in a previous episode, but the custom data has all of the vanilla components in it, and you can just specify what your quotas are. And so I have 2.5 million steel plates as a quota. So if my steel plates drops below that, it will generate more. And so this looks on the grid and sees how many we have, kind of a grand total. So if you have a big welder ship connected and it's got a bunch of steel plates in it, and you've got a storage cargo bay with a bunch of steel plates, it'll see both of those, because when they're connected with a connector, it sees all of that. It sees that as on the same grid essentially. And so once you undock your welding ship, well, it severs that, and so you should get more steel plates. So you can come in, dock your ship, pull in all your steel plates, and then once you undock, the system will. I recommend setting the timer to a minute, and then so the next time it triggers, it goes in and sees that all the steel plates are gone, and starts crafting more of them automatically, which is so nice. But that takes care of kind of the advanced things that I did in the series. I wanted just to cover them in detail, especially the automated inventory sorting. That mod is so vital to this game. I am actually shocked that it's not that it hasn't been integrated into the game itself yet. So yeah, we got a bunch of scrap metal in here. I could just throw that into a refinery. I don't think scrap metal has a. I'm not sure it has a filtering system on it. At least I haven't seen it. It might, but I don't get much of that anyway, so I can just manually drag that into a refinery. But anyway, that will do it. Look for other games. I'm thinking again of putting Empyrean on this time slot. Starting tomorrow. So I need to get some more of those recorded. But anyway, that will do it for this series and the game itself. Again, I wasn't getting a whole lot of feedback on ideas on stuff that I could do, and I think people kind of got bored of it a little bit, and so yeah, this does it for Space Engineers, and we've done quite a lot, and I'm most proud of our little starship over here. This turned out really well. The merge even works great. You can unmerge it and fly the saucer section away, so you could create a system with this, and this is on the workshop, but you could create a system where you have different platforms on the back. So like I could have this, and then have a back end that's more geared towards maybe planetary thrusters and stuff on there. or have a big cargo bay where I could, haul some things. So the front end is well defended and well armored, and the back end can basically be swapped out for different things, which is kind of nice. But anyway, yeah, it's. Oh, I never did fix the little Davids on the front. I don't know why those didn't shoot, but I'm hoping that the mod developer updates those so they actually work. That would be nice. But anyway, that will do it. And I thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.